So for our residents, we chose the McGill dorms on campus. There are three buildings, each with four floors, and with plenty of external lighting. The lighting is hit or miss. Some lights are newer, and some are still have that old orange kind of tang to them. But with the amount of lights, it still lights up the area pretty clearly. Some parts are mainly like the bottom floor, the lowest level. There's some like darker zones there, but other than that, it's pretty well lit. Um, there's also the community building in the center, which holds like staff and security, and it's perfectly centered, so you have easy access from all buildings if you needed to go in there for any reason involving like security or anything like that. Uh, there's three cameras for each floor, and on the fourth floor, there's a rotating camera that looks out onto the parking lot and has pretty good visibility of just like of the entire thing. And then the hallways are like motel style hallways, so this provides like easy like you can see all angles of the building, people from across the street on the sidewalks. There's always like perfect visibility of every door and every walkway, so that would allow for anyone would be able to witness someone like breaking in or some sort of like crime happening or anything like that. Um, the stairs though they have this wall here you can see like with these little slits on them, so there's some decent visibility there, but a little like hard to see through. The lighting on those stairs isn't that great either. So it would if possible it would be a good idea to either like somehow open that up a bit more, or like maybe just turn that whole siding into a railing so then you could see through it much more easy. And the staircase is also, you can't really be walking two people walking up at the same time. It gets like really claustrophobic. Um, and then for the my door is just, yeah, a simple like latch lock door, just one single door and one window. So this is kind of like good and bad. The latch lock isn't really that strong. I mean, it is pretty like it could just be my door, but it's pretty like wiggly and not super secure feeling. And the one door that leads like literally right to where that leads to a person's everything, like where they sleep, where they keep all their stuff. So breaking into somewhere like this, like you wouldn't have to go through multiple doors or anything like that. One door in and you're in. Uh, and but this can be good and bad because like you could, if you needed to, like it's easy to get into your room if need be and like lock it or anything like that. Each one is also like side by side to your roommates as well, so you have that person right next door if anything was to happen. Um, and then for the parking lot, oops, the parking lot's not super well lit either. Uh, it kind of relies on the outside light from the residents. Like there's like no lamps out there, and it gets pretty dark in the parking lot. Like even from the outside lamp of the buildings, it doesn't light it up very well. It's honestly it's pretty low visibility unless you're right in that like center part driving in. The far out parking lots aren't that well lit, so if anything, it would be good just like to even just have like one single large bright lamp just out there, so then you can, because a lot of students park their cars there overnight or just parking them in general, so it'd be easy to miss someone breaking into a car or anything like that. Um, oops. And that's yeah, that's pretty much it. It's a pretty good building, I'd say. Like it's pretty well secured. The building itself, like being on the walkway, it feels relatively safe. Decent lighting at night, and like you feel like there's at least always someone around, like all the other rooms, and like then there's the center. which is, if you needed to go there for any reason, it's right close. So, and then along with like the buildings are all numbered too, 1, 2, and 3, so that also adds just like an extra level of like if you were in an emergency situation, then like it'd be easy for the like authorities or EMS or whoever to easily be like, that's building 1, that's what he said. So it's I'd say it's a pretty good building.
Okay, so next, the business we decided to cover for CPTED was the HOL, or the House of Learning building on TRU. Outside of the building, there were a few lampposts to illuminate the walkway directly outside of the building. The lighting for these posts were a mid-yellow kind of white, but they definitely weren't LEDs. They were able to show more light compared to some of the bad lighting that we saw during the tour around Kamloops for CPTED. Also, walking along the outside of the building, a very distinct difference between the HOL building compared to the other buildings on campus is the number of windows that were fully floor to ceiling length. This allows passerbyers to see inside without any obstruction. Although there were no cameras on the ends of the HOL building, there was one right outside of the main entrance, so anyone wanting to enter through the main doors would be caught on camera. There was also a post outside that I had not noticed before just as a student until this assignment, when I finally was realizing the details, but there was a key card entry box to scan in before entering, which only a few people would have access to enter the building after hours. Since the HOL building is one of the buildings that's closed fully at a certain time of night compared to Old Main, which stays open at all times. Directly inside of the first set of the 2 doors of the main entrance, there are some emergency lights as well that have been placed around of all of the low ceiling places. And also, still looking at the main entrance, there is a sign that notifies safety and security cameras are in use. This would help to bring awareness to the safeguard that have been put in place for this building that most people would just kind of pass by without thinking about unless they were wanting to do something illegal, and then it kind of just brings awareness that they're going to be caught on film. To the left of the entrance, we noticed how translucent the rooms were within the building, which continues for all of the offices and classrooms on each level. Not only would someone from outside be able to see into the classroom, but they would also be able to see through to the Tim Hortons that is located inside as well, which adds an extra kind of layer, not only for the building, but also to the security of the business inside. The staircase to the other levels of the building is placed in the middle of the room and is completely open to the rest of the levels. We found this interesting just because there are no blind spots compared to other stairwells, which could easily be blocked off or locked by 2 or so doors, and which have several blind spots as well. As we walked around the building, we took note of the keypad, which seemed to possibly be an alarm system. The buildings on the campus are not all locked during the night, some of them are locked during the night, including this building, which in case security needs to walk away and go to another building, this just adds an extra layer of security just in case someone tries to enter without permission. Walking around and observing the cameras, we noticed that this building has multiple that are much larger than the others, which have been put up. This could be because they could rotate inside of the bubble and maybe possibly even view more of the room than the smaller ones could. They could possibly even be more advanced technology and see better in the dark. This path just outside of the building seemed to have no lighting whatsoever and was not well kept since there was quite a few leaves as well. With the limited lighting, it does not seem as inviting compared to the other paths around campus. And as well, there was kind of a small forest next to it with trees and small brush, which someone could easily be able to hide under the cover. Just off the unlit path to the side of the HOL building, there is a utility door that had no lighting whatsoever around it. This door could have had lighting directly on top to illuminate the walk where you enter. But the last photo you'll see of the CAC building, which is the Campus Activity Center, comparing the 2 photos, you can see that they illuminated both the top door and the lower door as well. Overall, I would say that this building is doing a great job just for lighting purposes, especially on the inside, including the number of cameras that there are. So anyone would be easily caught on camera unless, of course, they're obstructing their face with anything. The amount of glass used is great to ensure the visual security as well. Although this building does not have many valuables compared to like a bank or a jewelry store, there is still many offices with personal information for students or lots of art hung up, and also the business with the Tim Hortons inside. So I think overall it's a pretty good building.